Right, it says I'm live. And there's no video yet. Still getting no video. Oh look, there's video. I was just about to close it. Hello, Alphabet Cat. I'm going to change that top chat to live chat. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to be in the Discord, so if anyone wants to jump in, that's fine. And as we're doing 2 hours, I'm going to have... Oh, look. Somebody's already in the Discord. So I'm just about to start streaming Euro Trucking. My idea was that if nobody's in the Discord, I'm just going to play 4TN words about giants and something else.
Now we can have a gas about something if you want.
Yeah, sure. All right. So I'm not streaming yet. So I'm going to try and. I've done my lorry theory test, and I'm treating this like I'm going to be serious today. I'm not going to do the full 9-hour shift. I'm just going to do 2 hours of driving, then a 15-minute break, and then I might do another 2.5 hours of driving. We'll see what happens.
Where's your creepy number one fan? Is he not your number one fan anymore?
I guess not. No. Oh no. The guy, the police are no longer my number one fan. Friendship ended with Hobbit. Now PA are my new best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad. I did say today. I assume you're at work. What with responsibilities and such. I was was in the garden today, getting my 20 minutes of sunshine. And I thought, you know what? In lieu of having a paddling pool, I took one of the garden waste buckets, which I use for my logs, and I filled it with water and using that.
Are they commonly known as gorilla buckets? Those big flexible ones?
Yeah, gorilla buckets, garden waste. And so I filled that with water, and then the thing that struck me was that my feet and my legs feel remarkably smooth, and I just realised, yes, because you've put wood ash in those buckets. So what you've effectively made is pre-soap soap, and it was.
You'll be doing cucumber facials next, then, Hobbit, will you?
I'd rather eat the cucumber. So what's? Oh, we go. So if I could go all the way from sunny France to miserable Poland, delivering some Bracco vans. Yeah, let's do that then. But not real. Oh, okay. It's 2:00, so it's time to begin my work. So
have you noticed that? Oh, wait. Are we started yet?
Yep. Streaming now live. Don't say fuck or bugger.
Have you noticed that copper coins are now magnetic?
They have been since 1997, and yes, I did know.
Blimey, that long. I only noticed it. I only noticed recently.
I used to collect the coins.
I was like, why the fuck is this magnet picking up a copper coin? What the fuck's going on there?
And I just noticed it's the thing is, right, I had I got curious, and so I had a magnet at the time, and I noticed that coins after 1997 are magnetic, and what it is it's a steel core with a copper jacket, whereas before it was a mixture of it was copper, and then so they were being cheap.
Copper and nickel, weren't it?
You know what? I'm not sure what the composition. I'm sure if you look on Wikipedia, it'll say, "Oh yeah, the compositions of coins after 1997 are steel and copper." And I know I've just started my shift, but I immediately need to start a break.
But Phil, you've joined us in the cab. We're Hobbit's Euro Trucking streaming.
Oh, hang on. Why don't I share the?
No, if you want to threaten to fight Charlie, fill your boots up.
So if I
fucking scouse nigga.
If I share...
What are we on? Day 3. Have you had your visit yet? Is it day 3 or day 2?
Day 2. Day 2. I haven't had my visit yet. No.
Okay then.
Well, been out all day anyway, so whatever.
So you haven't had a visit from some fucking lanky prick, lanky virginal prick then.
Oh, I wouldn't make fun of him. Purple Aki's going to get you now.
Oh yeah, I'm shitting it.
Purple toppy.
Purple toppy.
Toppy's going to come and feel your muscles.
People threaten me online. I'm always terrified. I always believe what they say.
Well, we always know it's a legitimate threat, isn't it? It's not like talking shit online.
No, it isn't that. He's like a real gangster from Liverpool. Because he's got a Scouse accent, that means he is a gangster.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in his defence, Phil, everyone in Liverpool is a criminal, especially the police.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can believe it's legitimate, because if he did commit that crime, it wouldn't be easy for the police to find out either. It'd be dead hard. They wouldn't know what to do.
No, I mean, it's not like they've got like a public admission on the public forum what he's just done.
They're also very enterprising, the Scousers are, because I watched that Liverpool Narcos that's on Sky at the minute, and during the ecstasy era, what they used to do was the bouncers would confiscate pills off of people, then they'd sell them back to the dealers.
Yeah. Well, they're being like the middleman. They're providing a service.
Yeah.
Hasn't it always been though that in
like the
nightclubs?
like the Templars with the money? Is that what you're saying? Of it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like we'll sell those for you at a fee.
Yeah.
But hasn't it always been that the case in the club is like, if there's any drugs here, we're going to be the ones selling it, and you have to be like on the approved list of dealers.
Well, I think it kind of evolved, didn't it? Because when you've seen much of the Essex Boys stuff, you realise that what they used to do was back in the day, it like started off that you'd have dealing in the club and they'd turn a blind eye to it. Then they realised money was being made, so the next step was you take a cut from the dealers, and then it went to like the people who own the club would then be the suppliers to the dealers.
Was it a case of, look at me lad, I'm the dealer now?
Look at me, I'm the dealer now, bitch.
I'm the dealer now. Yeah, Scouts are criminal masterminds. That's why there's so many Scouts in prison.
You're the sell my pills, or you're out of here, you jelly tits ash.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so I've had my rest.
It's jelly tits ass. It's a
Do you think he's saying legitimate threat,
Scouse insult, is it?
Phil?
No, I said it is.
Oh, that's funny. You trying to explain yourself,
Hello,
and you cut out yet again.
Hello?
Hello
Am I
again.
back?
Yeah, you're back now. I thought it was funny you were repeating yourself and it cuts out again. Oh, let's put my lights on.
A fucking area that I'm driving through. I said, is jelly tits ass a legitimate Scouse insult, or is it just one that Charlie's made?
Of course it is, lad.
Because he didn't really want to upset Tuffy.
Of course it's a legitimate insult. You know, because a genuine Scouse, living in genuine Scouse.
I mean, how sad have you got to be to have a whole fucking bit where you gay off us? How sad is that?
I'm just amazed that it's lasted this long. I mean, that's dedication, that is. I mean, if I was doing that, I'd be expecting payment, probably from the police. Because who else would be like,
Do they teach stuff like this? Did Toppy learn it at Hendon, did he?
Well, I'm wondering if, like the police counter-intelligence, counter-terrorism thing was like, look at all these memes, right, they're into fitness, they're into homosexuality, alright, we've got a suitable candidate, so Top Cat, do you want to go and infiltrate this group? Just keep on doing the lines of physical fitness and talk about George Lincoln Rockwell. I'm sure that'll ingratiate yourself with some so-called English nationalists.
I mean, talking about Robert J. Matthews is in no way fed behaviour, is it?
Who's he then?
He was part of the same group. Is it? I can't remember what they were called. The ones that David Lane invented the 14 words, didn't he? They were part of the same terrorists.
Oh, well, he's Irish, so opinion discarded.
They probably killed old people and children or something. You know, like other lauded right-wing figures.
How could you make such baseless accusations about Irish terrorists? At the very worst, all they did is remove someone's kneecaps while shooting their mother.
Yeah. They didn't kill no one what didn't deserve it, did they? They're good boys.
Yeah, everyone they killed had it coming.
And they love their mum, and they love their mammy.
Yeah. They just don't love your mum. Simple as.
Simple as.
to cross the road there because someone's parked on the hard shoulder. Oh, it's that coach driver. Right, he's seen me pass, so he knows he's going to come crash into me. I swear that last street...
Well, the other thing is the only current news that Collett's interested in talking about is fucking Palestine. Who gives a fuck about either side, really?
You know, it's funny that telescopic philanthropy of, hey, look at the troubles over there. It's like, but misters, we have troubles at home. Yeah, I don't care about those.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about...
No, I don't care about those. I either want to talk about current day Palestine or 1930s Germany. They were literally, as a nationalist, the two hot button issues, aren't they?
But what about the trains?
About
the trains are important.
The aqueducts.
Yeah.
The aqueducts.
Well, trains are very... I mean,
Viniculture.
I gotta admit, I'm in the train section of nationalism, so I watch like these videos from Japan where silent Japanese...
I thought you said the drains. I thought you was doing the Monty Python.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apart from
what
trains,
nationalism ever done for us?
and healthcare, improved education, and civilization,
security. You can walk the streets safely at night now.
What have the Romans ever done for us? No, there's like quite a few YouTube channels by like Japanese men who are silent and just put subtitles in their video of like, this is me riding the train, this is me using the shower in the train, this is the train where I can just leave my possessions at the foot of my bed and no one steals it. And I was like, I'd like public transport like that. That looks nice. Here's the cost of the train ticket, which is like, that's like 1/10 the cost of a train ticket in the United Kingdom. Oh, my cousin, he used to complain about the high cost of train fares in Belgium, and then he took the Dover train to London, and he's like, "My God, I thought we had it bad in Belgium. How can you stand this daylight robbery?" And I say, "We don't. We drive cars."
That's because you only get huge inefficiencies with government organisations, don't you? I bet.
Well, yeah, you do, but
well,
I mean,
the thing is, either way you lose. You either have expensive tickets due to inefficiencies, or you have expensive tickets due to the fact that businesses currently want to give shareholders every single spare penny they can find.
So what they're really saying is that if you want subsidised rail fares, you need to become a shareholder of the company you're using, and then use the dividends for your tickets.
Ooh.
So that's how to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a roundabout way. I mean, personally, I'd just be like, how about like the government, made the trains in the first place and still maintains the rail network because none of the companies, they're too tight-assed to do it. So how about like, seeing as we pay the government, which then subsidises these companies, the government just takes over, and as we're already shareholders, instead of giving us dividends, they'll be like, well, we'll give you specialised dividends in the form of subsidised rail travel or subsidised public transport travel because you've already paid into it. And we'd rather not give you the money, but if you are going to use the service which we're using your money on, here's a subsidised fare. And I think that would be the most equitable system, really. But, that's just me being a horrible, I don't know what. I don't
it's
like...
I did hear some people that were saying, remember when we bailed out the banks, somebody said that instead of bailing out the banks, what they should have actually done was given us the money and spread it out between all the taxpayers.
Oh yeah, but you don't.
Same figure.
You don't go to the same buggering boys club that they do. I believe they call it the Bullingdon Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's why you have to fuck a pig's head like David Cameron did, don't you?
Yeah, that was kind of weird because he did that in real life, and then the first episode of Black Mirror is like, we've kidnapped the princess, and if the Prime Minister of the UK doesn't have sex with this pig on live on TV... It
happens to look very much like David Cameron.
Yeah, because David Cameron was the Prime Minister at the time. And it's like, if you don't have sex with it, we're going to execute her live on TV. So... yeah, apparently Charlie Brooker had a mental breakdown after that. I suspect he probably had a knock on the door going, so when you were writing this episode about the Prime Minister having sex with a pig, why?
That's absolute bollocks. You got to remember that as well, Hobby. It's absolute bollocks. He never did such a thing.
Oh, well, he just pulled that out of his arse, and it's mere coincidence that real life happened to be a very similar scenario.
Well, except it wasn't.
Yeah, it's completely unrelated. You see, I mean, the pig thinks,
It's completely unrelated. That's why Charlie Brooker had to have a warning over it.
and why he had to. Yeah, he had a nervous breakdown over something completely unrelated. That was just it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These things just happen, don't they?
Ah, well, you know, it's just a bit of banter, isn't it? I mean, Black Mirror is so full of banter. It's a great show.
Yeah.
So I've been.
And Charlie Brooker's obviously the sort of man who wants to bring down the internet because he's so on the edge of like edgy comedy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he really is, and just like every good nationalist, he's married a non-white Connie Huck. I'd love to read what the chat is saying, but if I do, I always touch the Armco barrier. So I think what I'm going to do, see for example, there's a curve in the road, so I can't just let my hand off the steering wheel, otherwise I'll crash. And there's another curve coming up, but if there's a straight bit, I'm going to read out what they're saying. I believe I saw Hemmingford Daisy in the chat. No, there's no no. That must be Halcyon Daisy.
Oh, you won't have seen me. You won't have seen me in the chat because I'm driving.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm doing my very own trucking.
Yeah, I'm doing I'm doing driving in Euro Truck Simulator.
Why don't they do Euro Van Simulator?
What, like a Cardo Driver Simulator? I think it'd be.
No, that'd be horrible. That'd be awful.
It's like here's your job, and it's like it'll only take you 45 minutes. 5 hours later.
I thought they could do that. That would be more fun, like car delivery simulator, where you've got to drive like various like top-notch cars around and drop them off at various destinations. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah, but it's game over if you start having fun in the cars.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you drove that Bugatti Veyron more than 30 miles an hour. Game over. Yeah. So I looked up the working time directive, and this is commercial drivers, right? You can drive a maximum of 9 hours in a day, and you've got to split that up with one break, 4.5 hours in, and 45 minutes. However, you can drive 2 hours, 15 minutes break, 2.5 hours, half an hour break, and then I suppose it's another 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2.5 hours, 45 minutes. Oh, actually, you know what? That's a good question, because, like, so you drive 2 hours, 15-minute break, then you drive 2.5 hours, but then it's the end of your shift. So, yeah. I'll have to check. I'll check with Capstan about that one. About what if you're doing a 9-hour driving or a 10-hour drive, what breaks do you take? Because after 4.5 hours, I assume you drive for another 2 hours, then you have to take a break of at least 15 minutes.
Oh.
And if you're driving 10 hours, so like, all right.
Are you looking forward to this week's 14 words? It's going to be Purple Aki this week.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting. I must admit, I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm not looking forward to having to do the work because you're asking me, or rather, I am asking me to do some reading. But there was like a two-part I wanted to do. I mean, one of them's going to be about. Well, I'm not going to mention it because that will be a surprise. But the one before that will be about. That's it. Tay-Sachs disease, porphyria, and blood libel. Except I'm not calling it blood libel because I don't want to upset Susan.
Yeah.
So, Exile Bear's in the chat. He said some interesting things about giants. If I had my phone in front of me, which I don't because I'm trying to cut out the phone addiction. I was thinking of moving to something healthier like cigarettes.
My phone was playing up earlier.
Oh yeah.
I had the. You've ever had static on half of the screen?
Oh.
What looks
no.
like static.
No.
Yeah, it turns out it's a loose connection on your phone. All you do is push the screen, and then it goes back to normal, and it did.
Oh, so your ribbon cable's doing that. I've had the weirdest thing on I use Brave as my mobile browser, and in fact I use it as my desktop browser as well now. And oh good, it's starting to get light. I can go to sidelights in a bit. So on my Motorola, it won't render pages anymore. They're just black. But if I look in the preview, I can actually see the pages, which is frustrating. So on my other phone, which is a Samsung, The Brave still works on that, and then it's like Brave black screen Android, and it's like, oh yeah, it turns out there's something to do with the Vulkan renderer, which I thought, well, Vulkan's like used for 3D games on PCs. Yeah, it turns out mobile phones do 3D as well, so they use that. You've actually got to go into the settings and disable Vulkan, but as to how you can't actually see the settings page because it's all black. So how am I going to see the settings? And then they're saying, well, yeah, but if you like do a split screen, like on the split screen somehow does it, and I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I realise it's probably 90, I don't have to be doing 80, so let's speed up. But yeah, I'm going to have to fix that at some point because I really like Brave browser, and I've been using Firefox ever since, what, 2005? And before then I was using Netscape Navigator or Mozilla browser. And so yeah, I've been using like
I used to use AOL browser, Hobbit.
Oh god. So yeah, I've been a firm favourite of the Netscape camp for a long time, and it pains me to realise that Firefox isn't actually good anymore. And then I found out, yeah, because the staff which were on Firefox, which made it good, got ousted out of their own company because the blue-head feminists were like, you've said unkind things about homosexuals, now you must leave the company which you have founded.
You mean accurate things about homosexuals?
Well, yeah, unkind, which also coincidentally happens to be accurate things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went on to found Brave.
It's funny though, isn't it, how accurate tends to be
those
unkind,
immigrants in the back of the truck, Hobbit. Well, if I just do something briefly, you can see...
Is Flopcat in the chat, yeah? Under one of his many aliases?
I don't know, but someone in the chat asked for immigrants there, so what I did is I stuck my head out the window, so you can see I'm doing a flatbed today with some vans on it, so maybe there's a couple hidden in the vans, but I'm going from France to Poland, so I'm not sure the immigrants will be too keen to be on this journey.
Oh, that'd be alright. As long as you're dropping them off in Poland, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I should have taken a curtain cider and just packed it to the brim with Polish then. This is the Polish bus. I wonder why they don't do buses like that, because there is like a provision on bus driving, like the bendy buses, that's a D plus E category. But why isn't there just like a D plus E, and it's like the trailer is like like people, and then your tractor unit is like that. I suppose it doesn't make sense in the case of that, well, you're not picking up like multiple trailers of things. Although, I mean, maybe what I'm thinking of here could be described as a train, but what if there was like a system where the bus passenger compartment was a trailer, and then the buses would take them to various like stops, and then like...
You mean like a train, but it goes on roads, I bet?
Yeah, and then like another lorry...
That's called a tram.
Yeah, another lorry could pick up that trailer and attach it to their existing trailer and just saying like, yeah, we're going here now. And yeah, I'm thinking like... But the thing is with trains, like I know they do uncoupling of like carriages here and there, especially for freight, but it's not really done so much with passenger stuff. So... I would actually really like to like talk with like people that manage transport for public transport, and it's like, all right, how do you calculate where to best allocate your passenger trains and stuff, and how do you figure out where people need to go and what's the most efficient way to get them there whilst also servicing other routes? Because that's the sort of like strategic planning I would love to know more about, and you don't really see it done in games that much. I like City Skylines because you get to play with public transport there, and most of the time
City Sushi.
Yeah, well, most of the time with that I just use the underground because it's got a small footprint and you can build the rail lines underneath the ground. Monorail's quite good as well because you can have the rails above the road. So you can just build a road and there's like, yeah, having a monorail on that. So that's a good one too. King Edward saying drive cattle trucks to Poland. Yes. I'm driving based on like cost per distance, and the most profitable thing for me to transport was these 2 vans, so that's what I'm doing. I'm not sure why you wouldn't just like I suppose it's cheaper just to have one driver transporting 2 vans on the flatbed than it would be to hire 2 drivers to drive the vans from France to Poland. My favourite one was yesterday.
Maybe you should put some classic old episodes of 14 Words on of it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But are you gonna?
The first episode we had Zero on was quite a good one. Do you remember we did Greta Thunberg with him?
No, I don't remember that actually. So yeah, I might listen to that.
Yeah, that's one on the back catalogue. Oh, obviously, I'm quite proud of the Essex Boys one, because that was quite popular.
I think what I might do is go on Anchor.fm to play the old ones, because that way it's got the episodes aggregated from both of your channels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might do that in a bit. Well, you're going to pop off soon?
No, I'm still an hour from home, so I'll be up for another hour.
Oh, okay. Do you have to like make like a tally of your driving hours in the logbook or anything?
Nah.
No. What they?
No, it's where the vehicles are tracked, and you do mileage when you fill up with fuel anyway. So.
Oh, I was thinking there's like saying about driver's hours, and there's like, oh, okay, you've driven 15 hours this week.
No, I think it's. I think it just goes into like working time stuff, you know, where you have to have your 8-hour breaks and things like that.
I mean,
I don't think driving hours actually.
Yeah, because you're not driving for commercial rewards, so you don't fall into those categories. Yeah. But you're using a. I wonder what the cat comes under. Like, you're using a work vehicle to get to work, and yeah,
it's just working. It's just working time directed. My working days. That's when I leave the house.
Right, fair enough. And yeah, in which case, so like, because you're not driving for... Now that's the thing, do you have to like, okay, you've driven for 2 hours, you have to have a 15-minute break, or do they just say, well, okay, you're 6 hours, 20-minute break in the middle?
Well, we don't really do that because it's work, it's drive punctuated by work, isn't it? So I'm not driving constantly for hours and hours.
No, but at the same time, it's like, you have to consider that driving is work. Then you're doing, if you're a lorry driver, what you're doing at your work is considered other work, so it's not driving, but it's work. And then when you're driving, that's more work. Because, driving, what you're doing there is not for fun. You may find it fun, but it's...
No, I don't find it fun.
No. So what you're doing there is work. You're doing something which you otherwise wouldn't do of your own free will, but you're getting paid to do it. So... yeah. I mean, yeah, that it should be like. Now I looked at I still like on my category with my tests. Working time directive is what I get wrong the most. And I understand that if you work at least 6 hours, you need to have a 20-minute break, which needs to be in the middle of your shift.
Yeah.
Not towards the end or towards the beginning. So, but in the case of lorry driving, I'm going to do it. I'm going to build myself up for it. I'm going to do like a full 9-hour day. Maybe I'll do it on the Saturday or something. And just like say, good morning people. Welcome to join me on a thing like, the 9 hours. Where I'll be listening to 14 words and like won't be listening to copyright material, so you won't get to hear...
Yeah, do you remember we used to do an hour? Do you remember that, Hobbit? We used to do an hour on it. All the old episodes are an hour long.
I did not know that. That seems a bit too short. Right, let's bring my speed down.
It used to be an hour until Zero got involved. Then obviously you can't do an hour with Zero, can you?
No, I have to start listening to the hour-long episodes then. That sounds... to me, that always...
Because we used to do Grub and Soil and then 14 Words, didn't we? Do you remember we used to stop and then do 14 Words? That's how it started, didn't it? So we'd do a 2-hour show. So we'd do an hour of politics and an hour of 14 Words.
Oh, but I don't like politics. I just like talking about the food, which is why the grub and the soil.
I think we need to get back to the grub and the soil style content, don't we?
Well, we did do a lot of that yesterday, and
So yeah, we did that yesterday.
I must admit, I was getting hungry after talking about cheese on toast.
Is cheese on toast like the crack of food?
It's very Moorish, isn't it? But I think.
Well, it's not even Moorish. It's if you see like the Cathedral City advert on TV, then you just instantly want some cheese on toast, don't you?
Yeah, which is weird because, I mean, when I think of cheese on toast, the last thing I want on it is Cathedral City. I do not like Cathedral City.
Do you like Cathedral City? I don't mind.
I've seen it in other shops, but the one I get it from the most is Aldi, Collier's Welsh Cheddar.
Yeah, that's what we get from Costco.
Oh, that's where I've seen it in other shops. There you go. Yeah, that's good cheese, that is. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that.
Sometimes we buy a block of Red Leicester just for a change. As I was saying, I think Red Leicester's a bit of an underrated cheese.
Well, yeah. I mean, I personally, if I'm talking about like melting cheese, that was the other thing. Like Nordic and Phil having a go at me saying, "Oh, fondue, that's so middle class." It's like, it's literally melted cheese. It's like less effort involved than cheese on toast, and you're calling it. So
how do you actually cook? How do you actually use a fondue then?
Right.
Because like you just leave your meat in there for 5-10 minutes or something.
If you're doing meat fondue, which is absolutely gorgeous and brilliant, because I think it's the best way. Like, we had some diced steak, and we were doing fondue, and it's literally like, put your meat on the skewer, dip it into this pot of boiling oil, and take it out when you think it's appropriate. And I was like, this is brilliant. So I dipped it in, and then 30 seconds later I took it out. It's like, no, not quite. So it gave it another 30 seconds. Like, yeah, that's cooked now. Headlight usage offence. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to have.
But you can also have like a cheese. You can cook in cheese as well, can't you? You can do cheese.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's where there's two fondue. I mean, one of them I want to call it cowboy fondue, where it's like you just got boiling oil and you dip your meat into it. But the other one is like melted cheese, and then you dip like. Well, there's another one which actually was much more practical, and it was kind of like, this is like cheese on toast but with more steps. They call it a raclette, and a raclette is like a little spade which you heat up on some candles or an electric heating element, and then when the raclette is hot, you put your cheese on it, and the cheese melts, and then you can slide the cheese off, and you can put it on like ham, you can put it on bread, you can put it on like a slice of some sort of vegetable, and it's just like, hey, great, we're melting cheese with the cheese on toast.
I did it at one stage. I don't do it anymore. I used to do that with cheese on toast. Well, I'd do it in the microwave and then slide it onto the toast.
That sounds like more effort than just sticking it onto the grill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I just. You know what? I think the microwave actually makes things harder than what it needs to be. Like, I tell you what, when I cook on the stove, it heats up just as fast as it does in the microwave, and you've got to stir.
Well, you've got all that stone cold in the middle crap, haven't you, with fucking microwave?
Well, that's it. Yeah, you've got to stir it about, and the other thing as well, and especially after like when I was researching autoclaves, I found out that the best autoclaves are in fact like, they're not just pressure cookers with steam, they're microwaves, because they found that when you use microwaves it keeps the steam hot, but it also it's like, imagine you got like a tuning fork and you hold it against a champagne glass. I use champagne glass because it's thin glass, right? And oh, I see, you just come out in front of me, mate. Let me just give him a honk. Right, now let's slam into
the other thing that annoys me about microwaves, those times when like the food stays stone cold but the bowl just gets hotter.
Oh yeah, that's always good.
That pisses me off as well.
Yeah, so this is the thing, when I moved house, I didn't have a microwave, I had a slow cooker and an oven, and I just thought, well, all I'm missing really is a toaster, and I used to just do toast under the grill, but then like the fire alarm, smoke alarm would go off, so it's like, yeah, I'm getting a toaster. And actually, that was.
The slow cooker's a must, especially if you work all day. Just throw some shit in the slow cooker, come back, and you got something ready, haven't you?
Exactly.
You try a cake in the. slow cook.
Yeah, I've seen people like apple crumbling cake in slow cookers and pizza, but I'm like, no, I'm doing stew in it, or I'm stewing some apples. I'm not doing anything else in a slow cooker. I mean, just it's one of those things like just because you can doesn't mean you should. It's
That's what I said about Tony Blair. Tony Blair was like, right, what we need to do is discuss like how we're going to do this shit. No, it's not. It's not how we're going to do this shit. Can we? But should we?
Yeah.
I think that's a question that scientists should ask themselves.
There we go. So, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it into a fruit salad. So
yes, exactly.
Just because you can melt cheese in the microwave and you've got the knowledge, wisdom will tell you not to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm speeding up. Let's read the thing. I'm pretty sure that happened to me. Oh, that must have been talking about saying that. Afternoon, gents, having my lunch, so I thought I'd tune in. The Black Mirror episode was a cover-up to make it look like he had a good reason to do it. Well, the good reason to do it was all of his mates were doing it at the time, and he was horny, and it was like, oh, if I do this, I'll be into the big boys club. Yeah, no, you're right actually, because in the Black Mirror episode, it's like, well, if you don't do it, we're going to execute the princess, and you want to save the princess, right? Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot more, because it was the first day. Do you know what? I think that might be like.
Well, they probably said to David Cameron, said that you want to be Prime Minister, right?
Yeah,
that's probably what they said to him.
Hey, stick your willy in this pig's head, and then I'll be Prime Minister, right? Yeah, sure.
I don't remember anyone responding to it, but the other day we were talking about people from Eton and people like that. And what I wanted to mention was that people from Eton and that are taking over the acting industry also at the moment. Because I don't know, you know that actor Damien Lewis, the ginger fella?
I don't know modern actors, sorry.
Well, he went to Eton. Although more and more they're coming from Eton now. I think doesn't Benedict come from Eton or something?
Benadryl Cumberbund.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but the thing is, like, before then, you would have had, like, classically trained actors from RADA. And who's that actor who I liked that was good in I, Claudius? He did, like...
Eric Jacobi.
Yeah, that's the one. He's a RADA. Brian Blessed's a RADA. There's loads of good actors.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's a RADA. And those...
Eric Jacobi played the Master, didn't he, in Doctor Who?
Did he?
In the Tennant era. Yeah, do you remember before the Master remembered who he was?
No.
They went to that place at the end of the universe.
No, I didn't watch the David Tennant one. So I got really annoyed when Christopher Ecclestone left after like one series, and I'm just like, but mate, you're not respecting like the Doctor's got a limited set of lives. You're fucking, and then I just like
Not anymore, he hasn't, because he started off by being a magic Ooga Booga.
Yeah, so they're just like. Just shit on all
the current they've shit on all the lore now. You know what the current origin of the Doctor is, don't you?
Yeah, she came from Wakanda and was instantly liked by everyone because she's a Mary Sue, and LOL, the evil white Gallifreyans.
No, not quite. That's it, yeah.
Evil white Gallifreyans torturing her because they're.
I don't even need to watch it today. I just watch things like the critical drinker to find it out.
I mean,
there's no way. I tapped out about halfway through that Jock Geezer's run because it was just unbearably fucking awful.
Benadryl Cumberbatch's family are very wealthy and were slave owners, apparently. So, there's a place I can.
Well, that's why he uses the phrase "coloured people" and not "people of colour," as he should.
Oh yeah, no, he's actually been progressive, you see, because people of colour will be rightly recognised as a slur in a few years' time, and the new phrase will be just coloured people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you say
it's a shit test, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's here you go. Here's the name this week, Honky. This is the name you've got to call us by this week, Honky.
Lol,
Oh, by
okay,
the way,
nigga.
when we call you Honky, it's A-OK.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got to call us this.
Have you seen the meme where there's like a tank and it's like an Israeli tank and it's like saying things like honky cracker cum skin, and you got the little Israeli boy and he's throwing a rock and it just the rock's label as nigger. Oh, that's where I could have pulled over for a rest. Oh, hopefully there'll be a proper service station.
Why are black people so fragile, Albert?
Because butt breaking. That's why.
Yeah.
That's like the greatest story never told for blacks.
It's like that's what makes me laugh when blacks are like, "Yo, whitey, why are you so fragile?"
I don't
and literally
know,
all you'd have to do is go, "Okay, nigga."
I don't
and
know.
they'd just fucking lose their shit, wouldn't they?
Well, have you ever seen that, like those prank videos where there's like a guy and he's like, "Dude, a nickel." He just like throws this coin on the ground and says, "Dude, a nickel," and he does it around blacks and they start acting violent towards him, and he's like, "It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Look, I found a nickel." And then they get even more angry, and it's like, wow. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will incite me to commit a felony. Oh,
yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to have to do something a bit naughty here. I'm going to mount the curb so I can get to the lorry parking. And I'm going to hit that lamppost. Yeah, but it's fine. I'll just talk my way through it.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
You're just exposing members of the public to mains voltage, but it'll be fine.
Well, actually, no, because this is in France and the Jippos have stolen all the copper from the lampposts. So, in fact, what I've done is I've done them a favour. They can know that the lamppost is knocked down. The Jippos can take it and sell it for scrap metal. Yep. So, try not to bump the sleeping lorry driver too much as I leave the thing. I bump him a little bit, but not too much. Yeah. I'm a good lorry driver, you see. I'm very conscious of like the space around me. As long as you don't run people or cyclists over. Apparently cyclists, you're not supposed to run them over in real life. You're okay.
Here's a question for you then, Hobbit. You know those little... I remember like when I was a kid, Mum and Dad used to buy these little cakes. Right, so it's a little like sponge cupcake style of thing. Imagine like an upside down cupcake. Or muffin or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Okay.
It's covered entirely in apricot jam
Nice.
and then covered in desiccated coconut.
Okay.
What are they called?
I've never had one. What are they called?
I don't know. I can't remember what they're called, so I couldn't tell you.
You know what? It sounds very... My God, I just saw a tractor leaving my lane. I guess the farmer is actually doing work. And mate, at the bottom of my lane there's a farm, and it's been inactive, but I just saw a tractor leave. Wow, okay. Okay, there's a plane that's crashed on the road as well. Okay. There's a lot of okays. No, I've never had one of them, but it sounds very similar to a Belgian cake, which is... So you got like a pie pastry thing, and then... that's got apricot jam at the bottom, then you've got a almond cake filling at the top, and that's called a frangipane. Or
this is like an inside out cake because all the jam's on the outside, but it's covered by desiccated coconut.
I made a really nice semolina lemon drizzle cake once, that was good. I should try and make it again, but I lost the recipe. I think...
Would you eat a barm cake of it? Do you know what a barm cake is?
I've seen it, I've never had one, but yes I would. I think I looked at the ingredients and thought, yeah, I'd have one of those.
Well, it's a pie and a roll.
Oh. I don't... What's the point in that?
What are you thinking of, then?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a Chorley cake, which is a bit like an Eccles cake. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're a bit bland for me. I like something that's a bit more...
What, Eccles cakes?
Yeah, and they just kind of like feel like a fruit sponge. Yeah.
No, it's like you've got a bunch of currants inside, wrapped in a flaky pastry. It's they're quite tart. I mean, maybe I think it's the Chorley cake. Now, someone in the chat he says, Lamingtons. Hang on, Lamington. I don't know what. Anyway, I should focus on driving, not on reading, because if I read, I will crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put the main beams on. They've done an update to the game now where they've made the lighting more realistic, which is a bit unfortunate, as now my lights no longer light up the night sky and let me see way into the horizon.
Do you remember those Battenbergs they used to do at Lidl? They don't do them anymore. It weren't like a conventional Battenberg, because it didn't have like the crisscross 4-colour cake, but it had like a sponge in it. It was wrapped in the what's it called? Wrapped in the marzipan, except the end was dipped in chocolate. Remember those?
If they sold those in Aldi, I would have got them because I love marzipan.
Yeah, I do love a bit of Battenberg.
Yeah, Battenberg's a nice cake. The other one,
what country does the Battenberg hail from?
I assume it's to do with Austria, because the Battenberg-Kalergi family.
Yeah.
Is it? No, I think like the full name of the Queen's, like, isn't it? Saxe-Coburg, Gotha, Battenberg, Kalergi, Kudenhof?
Habsburg. I thought it was Habsburg.
Hey, somebody in the chat, find out the full name of the royal family. I think they took Windsor on like during World War One, but I think Saxe-Coburg, Gotha.
Is that when we call German Shepherds Alsatians?
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
That's a rather funny little quirk of World War Two, isn't it?
World War One.
Hey, it's not German. It's from Alsace. Look.
Yeah. Those are Alsatians, and I think for that. Yeah, no, that was a World War One thing. I'm sure of it.
Was that World War One? Was it Alsatian? I assumed it was World War Two.
Yeah, but like I think it's like they could sort of say, no, look, wine comes from there. We all know French make wine, so Alsace is definitely French. It's not like a previously Prussian area. Saxe-Coburg, Gotha. Yeah, I know those are the three names, but there's like a whole bunch of other names as well. I'm sure like part of the family is called Battenberg. Oh, and I found out Prince Albert. Do you want his full title? Prince Albert of Square. So you know when they talk about
of Square.
Yeah, so when they talk about Albert Square in EastEnders, I'm like, have they just like shortened Prince Albert's name so it's Albert Square? Because
maybe.
I always thought like Albert Square was like it was actually a square in which they because I never saw like a street layout for EastEnders, so I don't know. They just say it's Watford, but yeah.
No, it's Walford.
Walford?
Even the borough they live in is fictional. It's Walford. WALFORD. No, it's Walford.
I thought it was based on Watford.
No, it's Walford. They even live in a fictional borough of it.
Okay. Did your missus like used to watch EastEnders religiously in the 90s and such?
No, I was the EastEnders fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mum and dad used to watch...
Like the old Grant Mitchell and stuff. The old Grant Mitchell when they used to do the bank heists and there's a bit of RG, bit of gangland stuff. They were the good old. They were the glory days.
I liked it before Barbara Windsor was on it. And then Barbara Windsor came in, and I was just like, "Who's this upstart coming into our EastEnders?"
What you mean you didn't like? What's his name?
Get
Mike
out.
Reed stood there naked with his revolving bow tie on that butcher's doorstep.
What?
Do you not remember that one?
That actually happened in EastEnders.
They weren't naked. He had a pair of pants on.
Oh, well,
yes,
that's
he
okay.
did.
No,
Yeah.
I do like Mike Reed in it, and Pauline Fowler as well. Arthur Fowler, he was my favourite character, but then he died.
My favourite bit of Arthur Fowler's dialogue, and I swear to God this is real because I remember it. It's when Michelle said she was pregnant, and I think the father was dead, but they didn't know it at the time. He said, I must have had it, and they're all eating breakfast, and he said, I must have had a bit of bacon in my ear, I didn't hear that. And I swear to God that is an actual bit of dialogue. And I've never ever forgotten that line from EastEnders, because it was so bizarre.
How bizarre. Do.
Yeah.
How bizarre. Do.
How bizarre,
Do you
how
remember
bizarre.
there was one called Nigel with the curly hair, and he had like a... Did he have a schizophrenic son, or like the missus he was seeing had a schizophrenic son who was covering his telly in tinfoil?
No, that was Grant. That was a woman Grant was seeing.
Oh. Was Nigel interested in her as well then?
No, that was Debbie. Do you remember Debbie? She had a daughter though, but she wasn't schizophrenic.
Oh, okay. But there was a character in it with curly hair called Nigel. Was a bit chubby.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was mates with Phil and Grant, weren't he?
Oh, everyone's mates with Phil.
And his ex Debbie had the psycho ex-boyfriend.
Has
Who
Phil
used to duff her up.
Has Phil Mitchell been in the show since the inception, along with Ian Beale?
No, I think Ian Beale is the only original cast member.
Oh, okay. I just keep thinking like his sentence and his punishment.
And I think even he didn't come into it until like 3 or 4 days after it started. He might have been in the first episode. I'm not 100% sure.
I look
But
at
the actual show started with a corpse. The opening scene of EastEnders is a dead man sitting in a chair, and then they kick the door open to find he's dead.
Oh, that's nice. So
it started as it meant to go on of it.
Oh, okay. So it's good to see that nothing really's improved then.
No, it's no more cheerful than when it started.
The tired, haggard look on Ian Beale's face, and I'm thinking to myself, he's not doing this voluntarily, is he? I think there's a gun pointed at him.
I think at this point he can't even beat Ken Barlow's record. I wonder who was younger when they started in EastEnders in a soap, Ian Beale or Ken Barlow.
Ah, yeah, that's a good question. I never watched Coronation Street. You see, family never had it on. No, mind you, my granddad used to watch it, but they stopped watching Corrie. Wonder why.
It's awful. It's just awful.
Oh, maybe that's why they gave up on watching it.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, EastEnders used to be funny, and then it just got like relentlessly miserable, and then soaps just got relentlessly ridiculous.
It's almost as if like the writers are horrible people, and they can only write what they know, which is horrible shit.
You see what? But here's my theory on what happened to the soaps. What happened was in the before times was you had people who could actually write engaging characters and situations, which didn't involve people being murdered. So what happens then around I can't remember whatever year. Do you remember Trevor? Do you remember hearing about Trevor Jordash, the body under the patio in Brookside?
Oh, I thought that was Fred West.
I think Brookside started that. So basically, Trevor Jordash was abusing his wife. They murdered him and buried him under the patio. So I think what happened then was there was kind of a watershed that was broke with the murder. The problem is when you have a murder, then if your ratings are flagging and you want to top it, you have to do something more ridiculous than a murder.
Isn't that why on Emmerdale they had like a plane crash?
They had a plea, yeah. So you had the body under the patio, you had the plane crash on that, which then kind of leads you on to later in time. Do you remember the serial killer on Coronation Street?
No, I never watched Corrie.
Well, there was the serial killer on Coronation Street, and the problem is that, like, to hook in viewers, it has to get more and more and more and more ridiculous.
When I was watching,
Brookside had a full-on cult that blew the house up that they were in.
Oh, that's nice. Is
that's the problem. They painted themselves into corners that they could only
because
get out of by exploding the wall.
Even the Archers, I was listening to that and I was like, it was crazy the sort of stuff that were going on there. And I was just like, why can't it just be a show about like the farm and like the real drama and saying like Archer should be, DEFRA's just come in and they've condemned all my animals saying foot and mouth, but I've not seen any signs of it myself. That's what the real conspiracy should be. There should be like a farmer, and for whatever reason, like World of Trucks connection loss, unable to connect account. Chat, you let me know if you can still see me. Press 1 in the chat if I'm still there. Press 2 in the chat if you're being a dickhead. We'll see if we get any response to that. But if I'm still talking,
anyway, back to the set. Well, I think what's happened generally in all fields of writing is I think nepotism has taken over. I think before there used to be a degree of nepotism, but you had to be good at the job. But now you just have nepotism and you don't have to be good at the job.
Oh, speaking of nepotism, you remember that photograph, and we're looking at all the funny blokes which weren't Chinese around Chairman Mao.
Yeah.
And you looked into Sol Adler's life. The one
Yeah.
who looks like Fufir Howard from David Lynch's Dune, I believe his name's David Crook. So
Crook.
I'm going to look up David Crook. And the funny thing about that is I used to go to school with someone called Crook, but he didn't strike me as a 4x2.
Yeah, sometimes they pretend to be others, don't they?
Well, the thing about this Crook is he had like a game CD, and I asked if I could borrow it, and he let me borrow it. And what 4x2 would let you borrow something without charging you money for it?
Well, also you had, do you remember like the Chavy family on it? That really Chavy family on EastEnders. They were the Millers,
Oh,
and they couldn't have been 4x2s because they were like just like Chavy, disgusting people, weren't
no,
they?
apparently I've
The
lost
sort of
my
people
old trucks
that
connection.
Colin steers at on a regular basis.
Well, that said, I did see not a working class, but a poor 4x2 family once, and I was invited into the home because I fancied the daughter, and it was an absolute hovel in the pigsty. And then I saw the mum, and I was just like, nope, I don't want to marry that, because I always that's why I said, can I see your mum and dad and let them know.
Well, the Jewish family I knew when I was a kid, they were kind of reasonably-ish well off. Probably like the houses, the area they lived in, where you probably had to be kind of a fairly well, no, but not well, like a top tradesman sort of area. So you had to have a few quid, but you weren't like mega minted. You know what I mean?
Oh, apparently I've been kicked out of my game. So,
Okay. Then. Why?
Yeah. So,
Is it a connection issue? Are they doing some maintenance or something?
I don't know. It just says synchronizing your progress award of trucks, and I'm still on you. So all I'm thinking is maybe I need to turn my VPN off and on again. So I'll have a look at that. Hopefully I won't lose connection to the YouTube.
Didn't you say your VPN's set to turn off whenever it goes off? Maybe your VPN's gone off.
Well, it says it's connected, but I'm just gonna. I think what it is because
No, mine stays like it. I literally have to hang up and then go back into the call again.
Oh, okay. No, mine doesn't do that. No, with my VPN service, one of the reasons I chose it was they said their servers, they don't just install on like a hard drive or an SSD. They have like a virtual machine loaded into the RAM, and then every 24 hours they reload the image. So at most there's like 24 hours of logs, but it's all in the RAM. There's nothing saved on the servers itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's.
So who do you use?
I'm with ExpressVPN, and I based I did that based on like a promotion that a Jew told me about. So I took the Jew's bargain and used ExpressVPN. Yeah.
Oh, that's I've recommended mine. I'm with virtual internet access.
Oh, okay.
But I've heard the kites have bought that as well, haven't they?
Yeah, well, for all I know, the 4x2s are running my VPN system as well. Oh, fuck. Shit. Oh, that was annoying. I just rear-ended the lorry.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, my foot was on the... I was trying to cross my feet rather than resting them in the foot paddles. And didn't hit the brake in time. Bit unfortunate, but that's okay. It's only 12% damage, and I'm only delivering vans to Poland. They'd probably be upset if there wasn't any damage to their vans. Yeah, I mean the Polish complain if they get something in good working order, so this way they'll be happy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
Do you think they feel they should suffer because they lived under communism?
I think they should suffer because they're Polish and I don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in the Polish. Oh, I'd towards the end of the stream, Nordic was a bit critical of my thing when I said I like going to Lidl to perpetuate their suffering and slavery. And he says, yeah, but you just and I said, well, look, I was there and then I left. They could do the same. No, they can't hobbit. They got bills to pay. Oh yes, I forgot. I live in this magical world where of the middle class, where I don't have bills to pay because I've got what? No, that's not true. I've got bills to pay, and the reason I left is because I had another job lined up.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad.
My mum and dad always said to me, he said, you can't leave one job unless you've got another one to go to.
And well, yeah. Current circumstances accepted, I really am enjoying my neatdom.
Yeah.
You see, Nordic was complaining about how difficult it is to make do with universal credit. I said, oh, what, you mean the stuff which I'm on at the moment? Yeah, I guess it is. But you learn to make do with it, don't you? Well, I don't complain about my situation. And if I did, I would be like, right, I want more money, I'm going to go and get a job. But I actually calculate, you know what? I'm actually better off on Benny's than before with, like, because I was basically, the job was paying to keep the car maintained for all the miles I did. So I wasn't really making any profit. Yeah.
Well, my missus was kind of the same on furlough because although she only got 80% furlough, she was like all that petrol, she weren't using all that petrol money, so it kind of, she was on the same on furlough as she was if she was working.
Well, that was good. As I was coming into a junction, the engine decided to stall and my electrics turned off, so I couldn't see the Armco barrier which I was approaching. I think I might have to pull over and get the engine serviced somewhere. So I'll keep on plodding on and get towards Poland, and then Poland's a bit shit. They don't have like bypasses in the motorway, so you just got to go through towns and it's really slow. So I'll just use one of their garages. In fact, let's bring up the heads-up display. I've got another 800 kilometers to do. Well, that will take me just over an hour.
I thought all Polish workers were more harder working and more intelligent than the British, and they just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Why are the countries they come from so shit?
Ah, yeah, because I mean, like, well, they're not. They're just, you're looking at them wrong, and you don't live there. And if you did, then you'd be like, you know, you'd be like, hey, fuck off, van. This is my road. You don't get to undertake me. I've basically accepted now that I'm like, okay, this is not how I drive in real life. No chat, I don't drive like this in real life, because if I did, I wouldn't have a driver's license, and the insurers would be like, oh, you want to insure? Well, that'll be £50,000. What, per annum? No, per month. So if I drive without insurance, what happens? Well, you get a £5,000 fine. Okay. Hang on. Whopper says something in the chat which I want to read, and I'm going to pull over so that I can get past this night time. It's currently 4 in the morning. Oh, it'll be light soon enough. I'll just keep on driving. What does he say? Wages are going up in certain industries. Right, so I've read that bit. Due to COVID causing lack of staff. Right, so look at road. Okay, straight bit here.
Oh, we know one that's got. We know one that you can pretty much.
Might be worth getting a new job before the country is flooded with scab labour again. Yeah, that's the idea. But at the same time, I need a lorry driver's license to do it. Yeah. The Polish and other Eastern Euros will do backflips for peanuts, look at more scab labour. Yeah, and yeah, they're willing to work hard.
What do you mean? He's talking about our European brothers who we're all going to bond together with and defeat the Jews.
Well, they work so well in Poland. I mean, that's why.
If there's anyone that's on your side, it's the Pole, isn't it? The Poles, when they come here, they just can't wait to join into British society, can they?
I mean, to be fair, I do like the Polish shops because they do rye bread and paprika.
I won't shop in Polish shops. I bet.
No.
Never have, never will. I don't know. It's funny. I'll spend money in a packy shop, which is kind of weird. But
yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know, at least packy shops do the trappings of fucking being British, don't they? I mean, the packies are more British. Oh fucking hell! What is this What is this sentence turning into?
Yeah, tread carefully.
This is going to be awkward, and it's going to be threading a fucking needle here.
After you do this, I'll do my thing about Amish are better than Koreans.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, basically, the Pakis took over. Yeah, this is sounding worse as I say it, but the Pakis took over the white people's shops and just carried them on as white people's shops, whereas the Polish, they just turned them into Polish shops with all Polish language and shit.
Yeah, that said, the Polish
shop... I think is worse.
Yeah. Mind you, the Polish shop I was in, the guy was quite fluent in English and well spoken and friendly enough.
Yeah, but you hear them all jibber jabbering onto each other in their own language, don't you?
They do, which is basically a sort of a subtle way of saying you're not welcome here because you don't know if we're talking about you or not. We probably are. Which is the same thing that happens in the Paggy shops where they just go Alhamdulillah, jihad. Muhammad Ali. Yeah.
Durka al jihad.
And they always give you. I mean, I've walked into. I've walked into all the shops beginning with the letter P, and my favourite thing, they both got that smell of like meat which is like slightly going off, not to the point where it causes you food poisoning, but you can smell it. And like I walked into one of them, and just like the halal butcher was looking at me, staring. It's like, what is he doing here? It's just, yeah. There's items.
You infidel.
Yeah, exactly.
You infidel. I put you in meat locker.
King Edward says, "Oh, but hey, that would be funny. What if you're English, but you open up a Polski sklep?"
Yeah.
Well, you just like you start like importing gherkins and caviar, but you're English and Polish aren't welcome here. Well, the money's welcome. But no, the thing is like last night.
Well, the other thing, they do their own little thing where you can buy the cheap under the counter Polish fags. Yeah.
Well, that's where you like learn a few phrases of Polish and go like, "Hello, I do not like Western prices, towarzysz," and they go, "Yes, me too. Would you like to have a smoke to deal with the stresses of living in England?" "Yes, I do. Do you have any Malproskis?"
This is it's
yeah.
The Polish question stand pan-European.
So my threading a needle.
That's why I can't stand it. Is because it doesn't account for Polacks.
Last night, Phil ducked off of my stream so he could start his own simping for North Korea one. And I went on after I did mine and just said, mate, I'd rather be with the Amish than the North Koreans. I mean, the Amish don't like the English, the Koreans don't like the English, but at least with the Amish...
You want to be a Mennonite hobbit? You want to be a Mennonite hobbit? At least then you can wear Nike trainers.
Mennonites wear Nike trainers? I don't know this. But no, I thought the Amish...
The Mennonites are basically Amish, but they're allowed to buy certain things.
Thought the Amish were Mennonites. Well,
no, I think the Mennonites are separate, but the Mennonites are the ones that wear trainers.
I heard the Amish were of the Mennonite faith, which sounds like some sort of Protestantism to me, because none of this stuff's Catholic. And they're just like, yeah, we're going to go to the new world that the Anglos have civilized, and we're just going to set up our own anti-Anglo state within a state. But I'd rather deal with the Amish. Like, if I was going to America, I would be like, right, where are the Amish living? I want a holiday there because that's where I'm going to get my food from. I don't trust American food.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever the Amish eat, that's what I want to eat. And that's the...
Take some Levi's jeans with your hobbit and sell them to all the girls.
What? No, I hate...
That's what... Don't corrupt some hobbit.
I hate the idea of girls wearing jeans. That's awful. No, I'd much rather they wear dresses and skirts. That's...
What the hell, hobbit? A bird's ass in a nice pair of jeans. You don't like that?
Better in the skirt?
No.
No, it's better in the skirt. Only day of the week. Skirts over jeans.
One for skirts, two for jeans. Chat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And
one for skirts, two for jeans.
And I'll tell you, anyone that's pressing two is a homosexual, and Top Cat's going to be having words with you.
Top Cat's going to show you how much of a faggot very soon.
Top Hat's going to show you how much of a jeans respecter he is. I like skirts, simple as. So we're getting 1 from XL Bear. So that's 1 for skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's 12 people watching, but I'm guessing like GCHQ Oxfordshire division is probably not going to leave a comment to be seen on the other things.
And JMP Manchester don't want to get involved either, do they?
Oh, come on, police. I know you're watching the show. You might as well weigh in the question of skirts or jeans. God, imagine that you're being paid to watch one of these streams right now. It's like he's literally just doing 2 hours of lorry driving.
Yeah. No, Toppy's taken enough £20 notes off of GMP officers for his tips, hasn't he? I'm sure they must be watching.
Wait, Whopper's done 1 and 2. Make your mind up. If there's one thing that I can't stand, it's someone that's indecisive. They both. I used
to be indecisive. Now I'm not so sure.
He says they both look good, to be honest. I was like, you know what, girls wearing like shorts like Daisy Dukes and such, that's good too. I don't mind that. Like, I think like women could wear Rhodesian light infantry shorts, and I'd be fine with that. But just show some legs. And skirts are good for that sort of thing. Oh yeah, but the dresses are quite long. No, I still like dresses, even if it's a long dress.
Oh, you can't beat a nice summer dress, can you?
No, you cannot. Yeah.
You don't want fucking white boys summer, you want white girls summer in summer dresses, don't we, I mean?
Yeah, make dresses great again. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I have to like say what my like political philosophy is, it's like women should wear skirts and dresses. Simple as. There we go. That's what I'm willing to nail onto the doors of the church. Women should wear skirts and dresses. Simple as. Eat them, Martin Luther. I think Martin Luther would agree with me, actually. You're like, you might...
Martin Luther Good. Or Martin Luther.
Martin Luther is in, I don't like the Pope very much. It's like, well, he might be Catholic and he might not be German, but I agree with him about skirts and dresses.
It reminds me of that joke. It's two lads are talking. One says, how you getting on with that bird of yours? Oh, she packed me in, didn't she? Said, why was that then? Said, I said something about the Pope. He says, you fucking idiot. You know she's Catholic. He said, I didn't know the Pope was, though.
Oh, it's funny because the Pope's not Catholic.
He's not, is he? He's not in any way, shape or form.
Jesuits are not Catholic, simple as.
Have you tried the chili bratwurst from Lidl yet?
Well, I mean, like, you make a bratwurst and then you do, like, some currywurst with it. You know how to make currywurst, right?
No, I picked up some bratwurst only. I picked up the chili ones by accident. I just wouldn't remember they were any good.
Oh, well, I mean, do you like a bit of hot sauce with your sausage?
I don't mind. It's just the missus. The missus will moan.
They're fine.
Go, it's spicy. That's what she'll say.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like spice, and you know, fair enough. But like, currywurst is you get some curry powder and some ketchup, and you mix it together. There, you have now made the curry sauce. Dip your bratwurst or bratwurst into that, and you know what the difference.
You can get instant chip shop curry sauce, can't you?
Yeah, but that's not curry ketchup. You know, if you're going for authentic German brats. You know what the difference between a brat and a bratwurst is, right?
What?
Well, a wurst...
A brat and a brock, isn't it? It's brock.
So a wurst is a sausage, and then brat or brot refers to how it's been cooked. So brat means fried, and then brot means boiled.
So bratwurst I can stick it on the barbie then?
Yeah, because then you... Well, whatever German for barbecue, BBQ-wurst. There you go. Das ist BBQ-Wurst.
Das ist BBQ-Wurst.
What you could also do with them, and this is perfectly acceptable, is you boil them, and then you finish them off on the barbie so that they got just a bit of colour. But if you do it on the low heat, that's also fine.
Yeah.
What's the King Edward say? Never finger bang the wife after cutting up chilies. They won't appreciate. mate. After I was like cutting up chilies for about 2 hours and de-seeding them last week, and my fingers were on fire. And you suggested.
Did you try the milk cup?
Yeah,
try the milk cup.
Yeah, you did, and it does work. And I asked a friend about this. I said, "Is it true that the capsaicin form crystals that hook into your skin?" It's like, she said, "No. What it is that the capsaicin in like ion pumps and pain receptors and things. So they latch onto your pain receptors, which releases the pain signals." But milk also latches into the same pain receptor sites, but they compete with the chili capsaicin. So if you've got milk on there, it dilutes the amount of chili that's in contact with your skin.
Ah, right, okay.
Let's see. Am I all right for fuel? Which one of these is? No, that's my fuel. I've got like one. So what's the price of fuel here? Oh, not that it matters. I mean, I'm absolutely loaded in this game, but I always like getting the cheap diesel. 122. How much range have I got? Let's find out. I have got. No, I can do another 1,400 kilometers. Yeah, that's fine. I won't refuel here then.
Why is it police cars are trying more and more to look like something out of Mad Max? I just got past one. It's got like a black bonnet on it, like the front end's all black with the police logo on it. They're trying to look like something out of fucking Mad Max now, aren't they?
The weird thing is that their uniforms are going more and more, making them look like they're for a paramilitary organisation. But then, on top of that, like they do all the gay stuff, like saying, "Look, we're not threatening, no, really." And it's just like, let's see, you look like executioners, and you're promoting AIDS spreading. So yeah, maybe you guys aren't the good guys.
They're definitely sending mixed messages.
No, I don't think they're sending.
I
don't think they're sending mixed messages because I think homosexuals worship death.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they do look a bit Nazi-fied, and they are promoting the gay agenda. So I suppose they are. That's not that much of a mixed message, is it?
Well, like I say, they look like executioners, and they promote lifestyle choices which will result in a premature, painful death.
Yeah.
With no children to speak of to continue your lineage. So, yeah, I would say. Do
you hold with that thing that because the left wing aren't breeding their children, that we're gonna end up with a lot less shit lips?
No, because the problem is ideas can spread from person to person. So it's not just like, oh, these people are predisposed to leftist ideas. No, the environment has caused these people to exist. These people wouldn't exist in previously. The problem is we're divorced from nature. We're not growing our own food. People don't know where their meat comes from. Most of them wouldn't even kill a chicken, even if they're really desperate for some meat. And because of this, we're ended up with people that think very silly things, very wrong things. And I mean,
yeah, but then you're the other way, Hobbit. You were dead eager to kill that hedgehog who just had a bit of dog slobber on it. He was like, "Where's the fucking shovel?"
Well, to be honest, for a start, you know, it's a hedgehog. I'm not going to lose any sleep over like pulling out its misery. And secondly, when I first saw it, I was like, it's. I tell you what.
Yeah, no, it was that big bit of blood-covered slime that looked like a big gash in it, didn't it?
The main difficulty is I was barefoot at the time. I was like, I'm going to have to put my shoes on so that I don't prick myself. I'm going to have to roll it up onto its belly, and then I'm going to have to like do a very brutal execution on it where I push down.
Dispatch it.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can't just like wring its neck. If you try and grab hold of it, it won't work. But no, I mean. Yeah, no. After I really thought like your dog had done some damage to it, but then seeing it later, I was like, no, he'll survive.
No, he loved it.
Well, yeah.
That hedgehog loved it, didn't he? Dirty hedgehog.
But no, I understand that death is part of life, and
Yeah.
like with animals, I don't want them suffering. And I'm not a vet. I don't know how to nurse it back to health, and I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take a wild animal in my car when I'm driving and I've got nothing to secure it. I'm not going to take it to a vet. So I'm like, right, you either die here slowly in pain with like a fox eating you, or I'm going to put you out of your misery, which is going to hurt, but you'll be over within a second.
Yeah.
And I, you know what? I've done that before. I have killed a few animals, and yeah. But I don't feel. Well, I say I don't feel bad about it. I'm hesitating on my words here because it's like, well, yes, you do feel bad about it because you had to kill something.
Because otherwise you'd be a psychopath, wouldn't you? Because like, yeah, don't care.
Well, it's more or like, no, I enjoyed it, and actually one of the things I enjoy on my walks is going out and no.
I honestly can't understand anybody that works in an abattoir, because that's something completely different, isn't it?
So everyone needs to eat meat. It's a job, and it's a grim job, but you know what? That's like one of those things where psychopaths, it's like, here's a job.
I was going to say, you must be a certain type. You must have to be a certain type of person to work in an abattoir.
Well, this is the thing. I started realising, like, there's certain traits which may be called dysgenic, which you don't actually want to breed out the population. So psychopathy, as unpleasant as it is to deal with psychopaths, and I have dealt with them. I've worked for at least one, if not more than one. My dad's currently...
We've all spoken to Top Cat.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not psychopath. He's narcissist.
Okay.
There's a difference. My dad's working for a psychopath, but funny enough, he's actually given me £100 for my IT consultancy. So, just because they're a psychopath doesn't mean they're stingy or that they don't reward work. But the thing is, like, low-level psychopaths, they are ideal, or sociopaths, they're ideally suited to work in an abattoir because they can be professionally detached from what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just go, well, you know, a lot of people enjoy eating burgers and mincemeat, so I'm doing a good job here. So yeah. I knew someone who became vegetarian, and he says, well, I was a salesman, you see, and like every day from work I drove past this abattoir, and the screams of the cows, like, nah, I thought, nah, I'm going veggie now. So, yeah. But no, if I was king for the day, I would make it like a rule and say, look, if you want to eat meat, right, you're 16 years old, and that's when I consider, like, okay, legally you're a man now. Although I'll probably have sort of graduating thing, because let's face it, most 16-year-olds, they're not men, are they? But they're like, right, you're enough of a man now. This is your coming of age ceremony. It's a chicken. You've got to kill it. And we'll show you how to kill it quickly and humanely, because you don't want to cause it suffering. Then you're going to pluck it, then you're going to gut it, and then you're going to cook it. If you want to continue eating meat, you get your meat eater's license. And the meat eater's license is proof of, like, can you kill and do that to a chicken? Because, like, one man could easily eat one chicken. That you could eat that in a single sitting. But, like, if you're like me and you like pigs and cows, I mean, that's too much meat for one man. And you can't just, like, say to... Well, how would you do it? I mean, like, a cow, how many people could a cow feed? I mean, how much does, like, a cow carcass weigh? And then you're going to say to every... Like, yesterday,
I don't know how much meat you actually get from a cow. Anyway, I'm signing off now because I'm home. I'll speak to you later, mate.
Toodle pip. Alright, so, carrying this thought on, chap. I would have the rule, like, saying you've got to prove you can kill and gut your own animal when you're 16 in order to continue eating meat. And how much meat can you get? Because I was thinking also, this all like depends, like, how much meat can you eat in the day? I mean, you can certainly eat more than a pound of meat, but yesterday I was quite hungry. I had a pound of sausage and I didn't eat anything for the rest of the day. Did I have some fruit? Let me think. I had a slice of cherry pie, so yeah, that counts as fruit. No, but apart from that, I didn't eat yesterday. and I felt fine. I felt quite full up. But then again, it's a nice combination of fat and protein. So I don't know about you, but when I eat fat, I feel full. So there's that, and protein as well. That's what your body craves. It's got electrolytes and amino acids. Oh, another border check. No, this is a toll road, and they're all going into the expedited lines. Oh, sod it! I'll just go into this one. I'll actually stop so I can press enter to pay the toll. Provided my lorry will actually start when I get here. And start a toll road. Yep, pressed enter. Gonna inch forward. Light's still green. No, now it's green. Yeah, if I was doing this by myself and nobody else was here, I think I would start listening to one of those episodes of... So let me see. We've got another 40 minutes left. What if I listen to some classic 40M words? Alright chat, let me just pause it there, because I can always do a bit of stuff after I've done the driving. 40M words anchor. 40M words anchor. And podcast on Anchor. And let's see. Let's go back to one of the first episodes. Borley Rectory. Oh yeah, that's the first episode. Episode 1 wasn't really an episode. It was more like talking about what we're going to do and our intentions.
And now the BBC 14 words.
Oh, spooky. Oh, Hobbit, that's bad. You should have muted yourself. That was probably me retweeting the episode.
That typing you could hear was a Hobbit. It wasn't a ghost. It was actually just Hobbit typing over the intro.
Yeah.
So welcome to.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're all right. They're used to it when you're on the show.
In my defence, the show, because I noticed the runtime for episode 1 was 1 hour 11 minutes and 1 second.
Okay, so this is.
You know, I'm into my numerology.
Right. Good. Okay, that we can cover that on another show. This is episode 2 of probably episode 1. The last one was more like a pilot. So it's me and Hemingford back again, and
Yeah, so we
Hobbits
succeeded with a network and now have been taken up for a series.
The programme commissioner's okay.
Yeah, big commission.
yeah, so we're back with the first episode of so far what we've got is as with all commissions in the UK, 6-part series. That's like traditional, isn't it? In the UK, you only get commissioned for 6 parts. That's not like America where you get 24 parts or something. So that's why there's only sort of 6 episodes.
That's because we like our stories
Succinct.
We like our stories succinct.
Brevity is the essence of wit.
So
just me, or is my
this
voice
week we're going to be
high-pitched?
talking about Borley Rectory, which is what did they call it? They called it the most haunted house in England. I think there must have been a more.
It's haunted house in England.
In the
Yes, there must have been a more
world
haunted
of
house in
England.
Britain, or a more haunted building in England. But this was the most haunted.
Well, Scotland or Wales. They said the most haunted house in England.
The most haunted house in England and Britain, but not including Northern Ireland.
No. It doesn't include Scotland or Wales, so there must be more haunted than Wales because they said England.
Do public houses count as a haunted house?
Oh,
Because I remember.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's
okay.
a haunted place of business.
Oh,
That's
because
where
I was
they're-
thinking
They're full of spirits.
Yes.
I've heard a ghost walks up to a bar and he's like, "Sorry, we don't serve spirits."
Sorry.
But I heard the story about a haunted pub, but it's not Bollywood Rectory, so maybe
I still haven't found out the name of this pub.
But Bollywood?
Just Borley Rectory.
As you can
It's
see,
a rectory in the village
Hobbit's done his prep.
Sorry, I'm getting confused with Bollywood.
Hobbit.
why.
Borley is a village and civil parish in Essex, England. It is located on the River Stour, approximately 3 kilometres northwest of Sudbury, and it's 39
Oh,
Is
kilometres
that where
northeast
you
of the
get
city of Chelsea.
the body of trees called Bollywood?
No. Okay, so we're gonna just go through the history of
That's surely.
of Borley.
No, that's about bread. That's
Okay,
for another
right,
show.
can you just mute yourself a minute so we don't have to listen to him?
We'll get trans on with this third one.
Yeah, so should we go over the history for people? They might not know what Borley Rectory is. Borley Rectory is quite an old building, gone now. There's a picture of it up on the main screen, and a picture of a man called Harry Price. Touch on Harry Price there. Yeah, so if you want to go over the history.
Right, this is going to be a bit. There's lots of dates here. So, 1863, Borley Rectory was constructed in the Gothic style by Reverend who was the rector of Borley. Funny enough, you'll
Which
find
has
out
woods
why this
next
is
to it,
important
known as
later.
Borley
But in
Woods.
1841, it was built. In 1863, it was built on the previous rectory, which
Why
was
did I keep thinking it was Borley Wood?
1840, which burned down in 1840. So that's built by the Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis. Right, so next, 1875 to 6, the rectory was extended. 1881, Harry Price was. 1892, Henry Bull dies, and he's succeeded by his son, who is Henry. Hold on a second. His son is Reverend Henry
forgive
Bull,
any
also known as Harry.
transgressions.
So
Thank God for spell check.
Name Foyster will come
Alright.
in. Will come back in a minute. So, 1892, Henry Bull dies. Yeah, I said that. 1900, the four Bull sisters see the Borley Nun.
Did
This is one of the
DDLE start
famous cases
5
of the
hours
Borley
earlier?
Rectory,
Well, no, because that would have
and
been
witness other
morning.
phenomena. 1911, Reverend Bull marries and moves to Borley. Sisters remain in the rectory. Oh, by the way, Reverend Bull had 14. So 1920, Reverend Bull moves back to the rectory. Also in 1920, Harry Price joins the Society for Psychical Reading. 1926, Harry Price
Come on, let me
Laboratory of Psychical Research, which later becomes the University of London Council Psychical. Is it? Okay, but
What's that? Sorry.
14 words start.
isn't it psychical
15 hours
research?
later.
Is it psychical?
pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it is
don't follow you
psychical
because, I
research,
mean,
which later becomes the University.
It used to be
the
that we'd do
Council
an hour of grub and saw, and then there was an hour of
Psychical
14 words.
Investigation. 1927,
on
Harry Bull
Tuesdays,
dies
but
on the
then
9th of June.
we
Borley
do a
Rectory
Tuesday
is
show
then
and we do a Thursday show, both for 2 hours long.
So the following October, the Reverend Smith takes up residence in Borley Rectory, and then in 1929, Reverend Smith Mirror in June, and is visited by the reporter Mr. V.C. Wall. 1929, first press report from Borley, 10th of June, and then this is all 1929. Harry Price, then accompanied by his secretary Miss Cap, visits the rectory for the first time on the 12th of June. Various phenomena experienced. Price and others visit the rectory for unusual phenomena experienced. Price, they visit again on the 5th of July, more phenomena. 14th of July 1929, the Smiths leave the rectory. This is getting a bit dry. Do we want to talk about? Is there anything you want to try shift in with?
No. I think it's just sort of trying to lay out the sort of generally a groundwork for what we're going to be talking about, which is like a sort of really the Borley Rectory has become a sort of a mythical place in ghost hunting. It's like
Okay, but did you want to take
Heavily-
over though? Because the chat are saying that Hemi keeps cutting out and going robotic.
yeah, and it's sort of heavily mythologized, and a lot of people look at it as like this sort of archetypal ghost, haunted house, and lots of different generations of activity there. So different people have experienced different activity within the house, and different owners so it's not just an example of one group of people having experienced a lot of paranormal activity and then it going away. But the main thing we want to try and emphasize at the beginning is that it's an old rectory from the Victorian times that was built on top of another rectory that had burnt down before it, and the original rectory was built on top of. Was there what was there before it? Was there something else originally there where the rectory is?
There's rumours. There's rumours of a. There's rumours of where the monks live, monastery. There's rumours that that's unconfirmed, if not an outright myth.
Yeah. So that's but that ties in with some of the sightings there, doesn't it? Ghost sightings is that it was a reputedly a monastery was there before they built the rectories.
Yeah.
I didn't say much. In
so
this
then
episode
they built the new.
I don't actually know anything about the rectory.
And it's opposite the church. So obviously the church.
I'm more
Bournemouth
interested in the
Church
shows
is
about
a
mythology and such.
parish church, and then you've got the rectory where the vicar lives, and so that was commissioned by. What was the guy's name again? Who commissioned it?
Reverend Ball, isn't it?
Reverend Ball,
Senior.
yeah. And then he's
So there's two Bulls. You've got the Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull, and then you've got the Reverend Henry Foister Bull, which is the younger Bull.
yeah.
Or Harry, as he's sometimes known as well. So they're all Henrys and Harrys in this in this story.
Harry.
And so the dad had 14 children. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
That's what I
Harry,
read- I
so
read
Harry
somewhere
Ball
that,
was
yeah.
one of his 14 children, obviously.
Yeah.
And they had experienced. They'd been also told at the time not to build on the ground where the church, where the
Did
where
you
the
ever
rectory
visit
was being
Napoleon's
built, because the
tomb?
locals had said that the ground was.
No, I've
there
never
was
been
something about-
to
was it
Corsica, but I'd love to
graveyard
visit.
there or something, or there was some reason
I don't
why
think-
they
I
told
don't
them.
think so. It's just right next to the church, isn't it? I don't think there's anything.
But the locals had told them not to build there, basically.
That beeping, by the
Oh,
way,
did
is
they? I didn't- I
suggesting
didn't
that
see
the air
anything about
pressure
that.
is low. But that's
So
okay.
anyway,
With driving,
they
it'll
built their,
drive the air
place,
compressor.
and there was activity from the very beginning. Is that right? That had some sort of paranormal activity right from the beginning. As soon as they moved in.
Well, the paranormal activity seems to be attached to the Bull/Foister family, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
If I just
because the
fit
younger
through
Bull
tabs.
is Foister Bull, isn't he? He's
I think that's showing air pressure.
he
Maybe
is
that's showing.
Reverend
don't think
Henry
this has got a
Foister
turbo.
Bull. So then
Oil
when you get
and water
to
temperatures.
Was it Guy Smith
Fuel
leaves?
left,
And then,
estimated range.
so then in 1930, the
and
Reverend
fuel
Lionel
efficiency,
Algernon
mileage.
Foister, first cousin of the Bulls, moves in. So maybe what's happening there is attached to the Foister/Bull family.
Yeah,
So it's
okay,
15:35.
and they're all.
That means I can drive for another 25 minutes.
Yeah, because the only thing is you it's
Well,
kind
I
of
can
funny
drive up
that
to
Smith
4.5
only that
hours.
Reverend G. Smith only lives there for a year as well. But I've also seen reports where they say it's kind of a lack of amenities is why people keep moving from there.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting name, Algernon. So there's a star called Algernon. I was wondering if you guys knew what the etymology of that.
What?
Algernon, it's like an old that's an old British name, isn't it? It's like a Victorian British name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rupert the Bear's mate was called Algernon. It was Algie, weren't he? Which
Yeah.
is short for Algernon.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, sorry to piss on your parade there, but Algernon is a boy's name of Old French origin.
Algernon.
Oh well, I can have it back. We didn't miss it when we.
We didn't use it for long.
Do you want the meaning of it? Because it's something that's really.
Is it going to take
as
longer
well.
than 20 seconds?
No.
Okay.
Algernon is wearing a moustache. The Normans were usually clean shaven, and it was a nickname for William de Percy.
The Percy family.
I don't get how Algernon means wearing a moustache.
No, I don't know. That's not
Cable
really
was a
important.
lot more focused on
Yeah.
the content.
I just wanted to explain.
Thanks, Hobbit. Thanks for spending us, Hobbit.
You're most welcome.
Where we got to on the timeline, we'd done up to Harry Ball dies, the Smiths take residence, they leave. But it's kind of weird how the Smiths ring the mirror before they leave. That's a little bit odd, isn't it?
They do what? Sorry.
The Smiths contacted the Mirror in June
Oh,
1929.
the Mirror newspaper. You mean? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. And
Hotel
then
des
they've
Invalides.
left by the...
Isn't that in the
14th
Hotel
of
des
July,
Invalides? Isn't that
1929.
in Paris?
Yeah.
So they contact the Mirror a month before they leave.
Yeah. So we can go into that a little bit later on. And then so from 29 onwards is when they start getting all of the psychic, the sort of paranormal.
Well, it's not
researchers.
29. It's not until I think it's 30 when Algernon moves it. When Algernon
No,
Foyster
but I
moves
mean
it.
29 is when they first start getting the paranormal researchers.
I wonder
coming
what
in
that
and
triangle
taking
Sorry,
an
yes,
interest
yeah.
in the building itself.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing written on
Out
it.
of curiosity, were there any pubescent girls in the rectory at that time? When
Jesus, this ain't that sort of podcast.
Yeah,
well,
Hobbit.
no, this is pertinent to it because I've done research into.
It's in the Weebcast, Hobbit.
I've done research into poltergeist activity, and it seems that for whatever reason, pubescent girls have this telekinetic ability. They don't know they're telekinetic, so they see all these objects flying around of their own
okay.
volition.
We'll do this later on.
We're
But-
gonna get to that because this is later on about the sexual energy.
So so then in the all through
Look how my questions, my
30s,
innocent
what
questions get
happens there? We've
misconstrued
got,
as saying
Foyster
else.
moves in, and that's the Reverend Foyster with his he's
Right, Foyster moves in with his very young wife Marianne. I don't know what the age difference
well
was. but it was a lot,
I'll
wasn't
tell
it?
you how we know what the age difference was is that he was I think Foyster was I think I read somewhere that Foyster was there at the time he was in his service at the time when his wife was baptized. so that's how much
What's
younger.
it? So is it a good 20 years then? Is
Gotta
it?
be, yeah. I mean, he
Yeah.
was probably only just in service, but that's he was apparently he was there in the town.
So we're saying that he's in his 40s, she's in her 20s. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. So they move in with a 2-year-old child called Adelaide,
She's
which
adopted
I saw
as well.
somewhere that
Adelaide's
she's adopted, isn't
yeah,
she?
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So 30, 30,
I've
30
And
been
they, and they
Paris
just
once,
moved
I
from
never
Canada
did
as
go
well. I
to
think
the Hotel des
previous place they
Invalides.
lived was Canada before they came.
Oh, was
back
it?
To, yeah. Which is relevant for later on. Something becomes relevant.
And also, are we going to talk about Marianne's like a section on her own, isn't she? So we'll talk about
Yeah.
her later. Right, so 1930 to 31, Reverend Foyster keeps a record of phenomena. Also, is it when the Foysters move in, they found a skull? Have you read that
Yes.
story?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Oh no, was it the Smiths? I don't know. Anyway, let's-
One lot moved in and they found a skull wrapped in brown paper, didn't they?
yeah, in a cupboard. So they claim. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, ain't it? Is that you open the cupboard and somebody's left the skull in there for the people who just moved.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's those stories about the skulls where the screaming skulls. Have you ever heard those stories?
No.
Screaming
Where
skulls.
there's a skull in a house somewhere, and they say, you know, don't ever throw it out or try and get rid of it. And they've got rid of the skull, and they can hear like screaming, like constantly, stuff like ghostly screaming and stuff like that.
Nice.
Bad luck and all sorts.
So then they stay. So then they stay in the Foysters stay until 1935, and during all that time is when that's when the majority of the
I do want to go
famous
to
activity
Corsica
takes
though,
place,
so I
isn't
can
it?
visit
That's when,
Napoleon's
Yeah, a lot of it
ancestral
seems.
house.
I mean, it seems to be centered around
I think that's a museum that's open
Yeah,
to
and
the
it-
public.
and
if
it-
I'm
and
because
right.
she was described as pretty loose, wasn't she?
and this is where the sort of this is where Harry Price, who's a psychical researcher or paranormal investigator, I suppose he would have called himself. This is where he really sort of comes into his own and sort of is there most of the time for those 5 years. And then after, when they move out in 35, I think in 37, Harry Price himself actually
he has
rents
the place
it.
for a year.
Yeah, he rents it
Yeah,
himself.
he rents it off of the Queen's bounty, is it?
Yeah, and then he pumps it full of 48 other paranormal researchers, of students and all sorts of people, and just gets them to just write down everything that they see. And,
Oh, interesting little thing. One of the balls, they actually there's a summer house built, and the summer house was built specifically so they could watch the nun going up Nun's Walk.
Nun's Walk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was back. That was Daddy Ball, wasn't it? I think that was the first ones.
Yes, I think he was the one that wrote
Yeah,
it.
because it was four of his children. So Daddy.
He was kind of.
Dad-
He was kind of like indifferent to it, wasn't it? Not indifferent.
I
but
think he liked it. I think
he
he was
wasn't
quite
bothered by it,
excited
was
by
he?
it. Yeah, he was quite
Yeah.
excited by the paranormal. And he was a spiritual
He wasn't
man.
afraid of it. Is what I was trying
No,
to say.
no, no. He was a spiritual man, so he obviously saw it as like confirmation of his of his faith or whatever. But so it was his four of his girls who were walking around the back of the house at some point, and they walked and they came across the nun, the figure of the nun, which she comes up again and again. And so
Well, did you
I think
read
one
the
of them-
story about?
One of them approached
Did we-
her, didn't they? Is that right? One of the girls approached the nun, and the nun
The
disappeared.
girls approached her, and then she just vanished right in front
Yeah.
of them, didn't she? Yeah. There was also a story that apparently the kitchen window was boarded up because she used to like peering through the window while they were eating dinner.
Oh.
That's one
Ugh.
does.
Yeah, spooky. Whoa.
Oh,
are
hello,
we gonna-
you
are we-
guys.
Are we going to talk about the theories surrounding the nun?
Let me just finish the timeline, and then
Yeah, no
in
problem.
30.
What do you want to talk about?
When it basically finishes, Captain Gregson. Is that right?
That's 30.
Ah, they're using a
38.
different sound effect for the trailers now.
37, 30. No, must be 38. No, is it 44? Because it's demolished, isn't it? Sure.
Oh, okay. All right. I know what will be. So in 38, they have one of the investigators
Get another
that
skill point.
that
Oh, sorry. 1939 in February, Captain W.H. Gregson unpacking apparently knocks over a lamp and causes a fire.
yeah. So
and then in 1944, it's demolished.
So in
so I can drive for
38,
another
there's a
15
séance
minutes.
held in the rectory by one of the investigators that Harry Price brings in, and she contacts the medium contacts a spirit who says that, well, first of all she contacts a nun, and then she contacts another spirit who's a bit more sinister and says that the rectory is going to be destroyed by fire the next
That's
day.
sun something, isn't it?
It's a weird name, really. It sounds like a demon.
But yeah, it's a very.
And the spirit says that the rectory is going to be destroyed by fire the next day, and they're going to find a body in the ashes or something. But they don't. It doesn't. The next day it doesn't get destroyed anyway. And then
Sun X Amures is the second spirit.
There you go. Sounds like some sort of demon. So and then Price and his investigators move out, and then that's when Captain Gregson buys it, and Captain Gregson's a real fan of the paranormal and wants to try and capitalise on the
Well, what
reputation
Sonic
of the building.
said in the second was the second spirit to be contacted.
Yeah.
Said it claimed he would set fire to the rectory at 9 o'clock that night, the 27th of March 1938. He also said that at that time the bones of a murdered person would be revealed, which is obviously.
Yeah.
But he's wrong because it's the 27th of February 1939 that it actually catches fire.
Yeah, not the 27th of March 1938. So it's 1 year and 1 month out. What a
13 months out.
unreliable ghost, unreliable spirits, eh? Who'd
You
contact?
just can't
Who'd
trust the spirit
contact him?
world.
No, that's right.
Well, you know it's all bollocks. It's all bollocks now, isn't it? That's it. It's all bollocks.
So,
I got it wrong.
That's the show wrapped.
so
Yeah.
what sort of stories have we got apart from the nun who?
Right, so we've
appears
got the
over and
nun.
over
She
again?
walks along it
see
even had
that's
its own
not a
name,
new
isn't it?
bit then.
Nun's Walk.
The premature
So with
conclusion
the
to an
nun, there are
investigation
two
show.
theories on what she was. One of them seems to be fairly correct, and the other one seems to be fairly wrong, because they contacted the spirit of it. It was supposed to be Harry Ball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he said that she was. What did he say? He said she was having an affair with a monk who murdered her and buried her under a tree.
The story that was one of the stories about the nun was that she had an affair with a monk, yeah, and that they when they found out they was going to elope, and when the town found out that the nun and the monk had been having an affair, that they killed the monk and then they bricked up the nun in a wall. And then there was another story of a nun,
Oubliette.
which was the seance one that popped up in the seance, and she said that she had been having an affair with or married the Waldegrave, Lord Waldegrave, or whatever his name was, the one who lived in the manor house that was the manor house for the village, and that he had murdered her, I think. Is that right?
Murdered her and buried her in the cellar.
Yeah,
So,
the cellar of Borley Rectory.
because this one seems to be the more accurate theory,
Right, there we
because
go.
they'd actually dug up the cellar. What did they find? They dug up the cellar after it had been demolished, didn't they?
Well, Harry Price went. Harry Price.
Sorry, after it caught fire, but before it was demolished, I think was when he dug in the cellar, wasn't it?
Yeah, Harry Price went
Oh, I
back
don't have any in
after it had
Switzerland.
burnt
Okay,
down
let's fix that. then.
and dug up and just happened to find
A
some bones.
jawbone. It was a jawbone, but I can't remember what else.
Pig's bone, apparently. But yeah,
Some people say it's pig's bone, do they?
yeah.
I
That's
thought you found a human skull as well, though, didn't
well. It was meant to have been a skull of a girl. Yeah, but the people in the village said no, that's pig's bone.
you? What do you think? Why would you bury a pig's bone in the cellar?
No, because it was just he just happened to find them in the ground. No one was there when he dug it all up. He was there on his own,
right.
so he might have just took it with him.
Oh, okay. Then is that what they're saying?
But anyway, what sort of stories have we got for Borley Rectory? Is there any particular little spooky stories? that
You've
stick
got
out?
the headless, the coach with the headless horseman, haven't you? But there's not a lot said about that other than it used to
I
race.
remember
It used to
that
race through
ghost
the village or
story.
something.
Yeah, they used to hear the sound of the horse and carriage outside the house. I think that was like the first.
Let's do
the
some.
first
I'm
people
going
who
to do
lived
some
there.
admin now.
Yeah.
I don't
They
feel like
would
driving.
Look outside.
anymore.
They would hear what
I've
they thought was a
done it,
carriage
so
going.
this is my
coming up
break.
to the drive, and they would look
So let's have a look.
outside
Who is
and
the
think
highest
in there.
rated in all of
And
this?
then later on, some
Milton
people
P.
had seen
He's fully balanced. So let's
a
relocate
carriage,
him.
a
He's in
horse-drawn
London.
carriage with headless horseman, headless drive. as
You're
well.
now going to be in Vienna.
is-
Have people studied the ley lines of this place? Because I'm wondering if there's any
I'm glad-
auspicious energy flows around
I'm
it.
glad you mentioned that, because if you look in our Telegram group, Hobbit, there's a picture from a magazine I read. Apparently, it seems to be the intersection of about 4 ley lines.
Him, he
Oh,
can go
okay.
in Switzerland.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. Oh, that's
Yeah.
quite a lot of them.
Yeah, that seems to be quite a confluence, doesn't it?
I've heard of Boxstead.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Essex.
Yeah, yeah. I've been through Essex. I think once I took a wrong turning. But and Sudbury Church. That's another one I've heard about as well.
Sudbury. This is kind of Essex, Suffolk. I think it's Suffolk, isn't it?
Mm.
It's on the border of Suffolk and Essex, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and so then when the majority of the activity starts when Harry Price turns up. So there
Can I
are other
recruit
stories
anybody?
before Harry Price turns up, but Harry
No
Price
drivers available at
is
the moment.
already a sort
Let's buy some
of
trucks.
he's a self-styled ghost hunter, I suppose. That's what he was most famous for, a paranormal investigator. And so a lot of the activity, the real activity, the
I
meat
haven't been able
and, the
to
meat
see
and
the Telegram group
potatoes
since
or
Charlie
meat and
forced
bones,
Terry
whatever
to
you wanna
admit
call
he
it,
isn't
of
the
the-
leader.
of the paranormal activity associated with Borley Rectory starts when Harry Price turns up.
Okay.
And there's
This is when you had a ghost of a chicken, didn't you? It was a poultry ghost.
A poltergeist. Poltergeist?
A noisy ghost. It translates as, doesn't it, poltergeist?
yeah. Also, the word hobgoblin used to be interchangeable back then with poltergeist. So poltergeist is a German word, but hobgoblin was the English version of a poltergeist.
Oh, really? I
Oh,
didn't-
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because hob is another name for the devil. So that's an old English name.
Oh.
I didn't know
So
that.
hobgoblin
didn't-
was like a devilish goblin, I suppose.
So what's the etymology of hobnail then? Is that the devil's nail?
Don't know. Maybe it makes you hobble. Maybe what's the origin of hobble?
Hobnail
I suppose?
boots,
Probably the
isn't
same. Yeah. But
Hobbit leading us off track yet.
oh
again.
yeah, and Hobbit. Yeah, Hob. You've got Hob in your
Well,
name. You're
That's another thing which I was
Small
curious
devil.
about. I was wondering if there's any
The devil's bit. You are. The devil's bit. Hobbit.
devil's bit, not to be confused with the devil's tit.
Old Nick.
So, what sort of stuff do we get when Harry Price is there? I mean, he basically gets
There's a lot of stone throwing, wasn't there?
That's one way of putting it. Yeah. There's broken windows. There's what else was there? Keys falling out of locks. So some people slept in the rooms and then went
Did you read the
in
incident
night.
about the bells when the bells
servants'
were all
bells,
ringing like
yeah.
mad? Yeah, but the wires were cut.
Yeah.
Going to get
And
myself
that
another
was apparently
lorry.
something that was happening before even the Forsters moved in, which is the Foisters. So before they moved in,
I know what I'm going to do.
that was something that they reported when they moved in, but it was also something that was going on before they moved in. So it wasn't just.
Did the
I
Smiths
can get
actually
to
report
Warsaw,
anything, or
so
did they try
if
and
I
keep a
get to
stiff upper lip?
Warsaw-
Is that what that was all about? Or?
Which one of them went mad? One of the dads went mad. I thought it was the Smiths. I'm not sure.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, one of
The
them.
ones that were only there for a year. I haven't read anything about the Smiths because nothing.
One of them tried to perform an exorcism. It might have been the Smiths, and it might have been Smith himself who tried to perform the exorcism.
Right, I've
So
got
that would
6
explain why
minutes.
it
Let's see if
ramped
I can
up.
get
They-
in 6 minutes time.
Oh yeah, I did read that because all they did was they just pissed it off, didn't they?
Yeah, and it went away for a brief period, and then it came back even worse, and then he basically ended up in an asylum for a couple of months. It drove him so
Oh.
crazy, and then that was why they moved out, because he got out the asylum and was just like, okay.
I think that was the Foisters, wasn't it? Because the report I said said that the Foisters moved out because the old man's bad health.
Oh, I don't know.
That,
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds
fine.
like a
Foister.
sounds like a euphemism for
Fines
going
only
crackers.
apply to those who
Foister,
are
hung around
poor.
the whole time.
They're only illegal for poor
actually.
people. That's okay. No harm
because
done
that
to
was
the
when
cat.
Harry Price was there. It's when
Harry
Marianne
Price, not to
started
be
being the centre of
confused
all
with
the
Vincent
activities.
Price.
She
No.
was writing on the
Well,
wall,
that's
started
because
appearing.
Marianne was a dirty girl, wasn't she?
Well, that is something that she apparently confessed
Oh, there is
to.
a turbo on this.
So the activity that was going on when Marianne was there.
Bit of damage, never
that,
mind.
she claims that
going
things
to
like
attract mechanics so
cupboards
they
fell
can
over. Chairs was there the thing? Was that? Oh no, it was a different. I'm thinking of a
Didn't she get slapped around in bed or something?
Yeah, slapped around, knock-ins.
Oh, goodness
I
me.
mean, these things
Why do
start.
the
They
Brits
always seem
do
to
that?
start with like knocking, small little sounds, knocking. And they get
The double entendre is like, I can't resist. The knockings, the getting slapped and tickled.
Yeah, but you've just got you've got to do your prep, Hobbit, because you'll see that there's not actually double entendres, because later on in life she confessed to having an affair with a lodger, and she says that a lot of the activity was her basically covering for having an affair with a lodger.
So not.
Well, that's
the
enough to drive a
associate-
lot of men into
Well,
it.
that's
I'm listening
because
to
that's
the
how you
first
hide
episode-
an affair, isn't it? By
Listening to
getting
the
as
first
many people
episode
in
of
the house as
4TM
possible.
Words, and
No, but
this
that's-
is with Kay.
That's a real
who's
roundabout
not with us
thinking.
anymore.
I know what I'll do. I'll make this house be the most haunted house in England. So we have Harry Price, hundreds of researchers all steaming up the windows because they're all jammed in there.
Was that because she just
and that'll hide the affair.
She wanted access to anorak cock?
Anorak.
No, but it was because her husband was coming home at all sorts of weird times, and they had a lodger in there, and so when he would come home, they would sort of be probably running around the house, chucking things in places to make the husband think he was going mad. I think Mr. Foyster was into it more than Marianne was. So I think that he was sort of a believer, and she was a participant. But it seemed
3
to be
minutes.
located around her, and that was
Well,
what.
the other thing, she was bored there as well, wasn't she? Because wasn't she like a city girl, wasn't she?
Well, she was over half his age. They'd just moved from the other interesting thing that I found out is that they'd just moved. I mean, I haven't found this out. I've not been investigating. I've not been doing paranormal journalism. But when they'd moved from Canada, and the town that they'd moved from in Canada had like quite a famous poltergeist.
Oh, on the timeline I've
episode.
got here, it says 1933 to 1934. Marianne Foyster was working in London and was home at the weekends.
Oh right, okay. So she had a job. What the fuck? I thought women were all oppressed back then.
Yeah, so did I. Oh, in 1931, Price, Mrs. Goldney and others visit. Price suspects Marianne of deception and leaves on bad terms with the Foysters.
Yeah, but Price was a little bit of a showman, and he was also he got 2 books out before he
Put it on my
it was
tab.
sort of in his interest that he came out with results. I think that's what happened, and not saying I'm not saying that the things weren't, that some of the stuff wasn't happening, but at one point a journalist from the Mirror was there, and he got hit with a stone, and then he basically
I don't think I need
ran
to
straight
obey
for
the
Harry
red light
Price
if I'm doing
grabbed
this sort of
him
stuff.
and, made him empty out his pockets, and he had pockets full of little stones. So
Yeah, but the problem is you got to trust the journalist on that story, haven't you?
yeah.
The problem is you've got a whole heap of people with a whole different set of axes to grind, haven't you? That's the real problem
Yeah.
you've got here, isn't it?
As a recruitment agency, so that's not what
So
I want.
you got Harry Price, who's motivated by wanting to be a showman. You've got, I mean, I don't know. What do you think the papers would be at the time? Would they be pro or anti paranormal stuff? Would they think everybody's a kook or?
I don't know. I mean, they in some ways journalism was a lot more sober
No,
back
I
then.
thought this was a
wasn't it?
Scania.
It was. I mean,
Haven't journalists always been sceptical of things, and they always claim it's like back before the word existed, it's all a conspiracy theory, because that was only coined with the JFK assassination.
Yeah, that's where I'd be inclined to believe that the Mirror come down on this. So the Mirror would want to debunk it.
Yeah, there's all these people that there's like, they sort of scoff at the idea of these silly people that have been listening to old wives' tales.
God's own said, did she work on her back? Yeah, that's the thing. You don't really know. It's like I can't really figure out like
That counts
Marianne's
as 2 hours
motivations
of driving,
for faking
so
it.
thanks very much
Or
for
even
watching.
the Reverend. I mean, was the Reverend literally just like Homer Simpson?
And if you'd like to listen to more of episode 2 of 4TM Words, there's a podcast available on Anchor FM. Now fuck off.